Coming up tonight, how Kathy Hochul plans to mark National Firefighters Day across the state.
And updates on an accident involving bird scooters in the city of Oswego.
Plus, nationwide reactions to the Supreme Court leak.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Maddie Durant.
And I'm Matthew Rivenberg.
The landmark Roe v. Wade case is causing an uproar across the country. Following the release of a Supreme Court draft, several lawmakers took to social media to express their concerns. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp hopes to have the strongest pro-life laws in the country, and the governor of Mississippi agrees, saying countless lives could be saved. But California Governor Gavin Newsom says the state will not stand idly by.
And New York Governor Kathy Hochul agrees, saying she is horrified and will never stop fighting states. States will be given the individual powers to decide whether or not they will allow clinics to operate and if women would be allowed to get abortions. Up to 26 states will outlaw abortions if the draft proves true. States like Alabama and Arkansas are also pro-life, but one doctor from Colorado worries history will repeat itself if Roe v. Wade is overturned. Kelly Reinke reports.
And then this one was taken by the Los Angeles Times, and this was published in 1992.
For over 45 years, Dr. Warren Hearn has shared many stories about his life calling.
This is my work. This is what I do.
A career revered by colleagues, but despised by those who oppose abortions.
And the day I was coming back, somebody took stones from a flower box out here and throw it through the window. It says, "This window was broken by those who hate freedom."
He remembers that threat made towards his clinic in Boulder in the 1980s and the 5 bullets fired through the front door. Dr. Hearn says he kept coming back so he could help his patients.
She said, "It's so different. You're a doctor. It's clean. The windows are open. The lights are on. Please don't ever stop doing this." And so I didn't.
Before Roe v. Wade, he thought too many women were dying because of unsafe, illegal abortions. That's why he started this practice.
Then I just started performing the abortions in the safest way I could.
But if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, Dr. Hearn worries history could repeat itself.
That women will die trying to have unsafe and illegal abortion because they can't get a safe abortion. I have always felt this is an extremely important service. And there's never been a time when it's less important.
This clinic is a refuge for women who are seeking a procedure that may be banned in other states. At age 83, Dr. Hearn feels called to help even more people.
This is a major component, an essential component of women's health care, and it's being threatened now.
The Supreme Court's final opinion on Roe v. Wade hasn't been formally released.
In local news, Mayor Billy Barlow responds to a bird scooter accident in the city of Oswego. The accident took place around 5:30 p.m. on Sunday near East 10th and East Bridge Streets and involved an 18-year-old male. Mayor Barlow says scooter users should wear a helmet and obey the rules of the road while riding.
Oswego Mayor Billy Barlow says the Oswego police officers received Officer of the Year awards. The officers are Brian Graves and Chris Pritchard. Graves was awarded as the 2020 Officer of the Year, while Pritchard was awarded the 2021 Officer of the Year. Barlow says on Twitter, these awards are given to an officer who unselfishly distinguishes themselves in the community by performing deeds that improve the city police department's reputation.
The Fulton Lions Club is doing their part to keep their community clean. For 4 hours on Saturday morning, the club will be cleaning up Voorhees Park in honor of Earth Day. The group will be picking up garbage, mulching, and doing other general cleanup to get the park ready for the summer season. Anyone who is interested in volunteering should arrive at the park by 9 a.m.
The Oswego County Department of Health reports an additional 571 residents that have tested positive with COVID-19 from April 25th to May 1st. This number includes both lab tests and at-home tests. The Oswego County Public Health Director says the county's numbers decreased in last week, but still remains high. Another 2 deaths have been reported by the New York State Department of Health, bringing the state's total to 190 deaths.
New legislation banning a sexist and racist word from education law was passed today. Governor Hochul signed a bill which removes the word incorrigible from official documents. The term was previously used to refer to a woman of color who did not behave in a feminine way. Governor Hochul says that this change will enforce diversity and protect women from abuses of power.
Governor Kathy Hochul says New York State landmarks will be lit red tonight in honor of National Firefighters Day. These landmarks include Niagara Falls, the Empire State Plaza, Albany International Airport, among many others. Hochul says firefighters put their lives at risk every day to make communities safer. She says it is important to recognize the sacrifices and dedication of firefighters past and present that make New York State a better place to live.
Comedian Dave Chappelle appears okay after someone attacked him Tuesday night. It happened when he was performing at the Hollywood Bowl. Witnesses say a man rushed the stage and tackled Chappelle. Security subdued the man, and a video shows a man presumed to be the attacker on a gurney being loaded into an ambulance. Los Angeles police confirmed they took a man armed with a gun and knife into custody. Videos posted to social media show Chappelle continuing his show after the incident. And coming up later tonight, a Russian military strike hits a bus stop in Ukraine.
And implications of the leaked Supreme Court draft about Roe v. Wade.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Chris Johnson. Chris, what's it looking like out there?
All right, thanks, Maddie. So as you can see behind me, we're looking at what to expect here. Partly cloudy skies are going to be continuing. Mother's Day is looking good. And it's going to be a sunny and warm beginning to finals week, and I will have more coming up after the break.
Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Donna.
And this is the Sunset Show. Grab your low-rise jeans because we're taking it back to the 2000s.
Let's go, girls.
And low-rise jeans.
Together.
One of the boys, boy.
Sorry, it's my agent. He told me that you're canceled.
Shebangy, shebangy, shebangy.
Welcome to the burial ground. Must-see also in all of sports entertainment.
Welcome back to the Kind of Lake Show, where we talk about anything and everything going on in our lives and yours.
Well, my birthday was November 13th, so it's been quite some time.
I think at the end we saw him get up.
I did that. I can't.
Here's a winner. Yeah, I did bring a sweater for everyone.
There you go! I know your dreams.
You started the paper throwing, just the immaturity. You lost before you even argued. Pretty insane that the Clippers, 10 of the last 11 postseasons, they're in there.
Hi, I'm WTOP Storm Team 10 meteorologist Christopher Johnson. And looking behind me here, you can see we have high-level clouds that are going to be moving east across the region, moving out of the Oswego and Buffalo area as the night progresses. And looking at satellite and radar, especially behind me here, you can see the showers moving away across the New York State as they move towards Vermont. And actually what you see right here is not any type of precipitation. It's actually some ground clutter, so that could be birds, insects, anything of that nature. All right, so going into tonight, you can expect partly cloudy skies, 40 degrees for a low, with light wind gusts. And then going into tomorrow, more of the same thing, partly cloudy skies, high of 57, winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Should be a really nice day tomorrow. All right, and as most of you know, Mother's Day is this weekend. So if you're planning anything with mom, doing anything this weekend, it's looking nice for you. It's looking warm, sunny, perfect day for a picnic with your mom with a high of 62. And so looking at your 3-day forecast, Going into the weekend here, looking at 57 on Thursday, 61 on Friday. Saturday, a little chillier with clouds on Friday. And then going into your the rest of your weekend and into next week, you're going to have sunny conditions on Sunday, high of 62, and the beginning of next week will have some clouds, mainly Tuesday and Wednesday. The highs will be warming into the low to mid 70s as you come into Wednesday. And I'll throw it back to the news desk.
Alrighty, thanks, Chris. Great. And as the Supreme Court considers overturning Roe v. Wade, the landmark case that protects abortion rights, gay rights activists worry another Supreme Court decision could be at risk, particularly Obergefell versus Hodges, the case that legalized same-sex marriage. Jim Obergefell, the gay rights activist who filed that lawsuit, worries that if Roe v. Wade is overturned, it could signal an opening to target other rights grounded in privacy and liberty.
Well, I think making sure that people understand the risk that we all face, these fundamental rights that we have enjoyed, the right to privacy, the right to marry, those are not rights that are specifically outlined in the Constitution. Those rights are at risk.
Obergefell is now running for Ohio's House of Representatives and says he'll be zeroing in on issues of Supreme Court precedent like this.
U.S. markets closed slightly higher on Tuesday as investors anticipate Wednesday's interest rate hike decision by the Federal Reserve. Wall Street watchers are preparing to tackle the worst inflation the U.S. has seen since the Reagan administration. John Loring reports.
The Federal Reserve helped the U.S. economy through the COVID-19 pandemic by dropping rates to near zero. Now the Fed is facing a new challenge, crushing inflation without bringing on a recession.
It's hard to catch up when you have to go very fast. It's also hard to catch up when you actually have to push monetary policy to a tight setting.
Coming up with a so-called soft landing could be difficult, in part because the jobs market is booming, and increasing the interest rate will likely change that.
This is a situation where wages have moved up at the highest rate in a very long time, and people are able to quit their jobs and move to better paying jobs.
The unemployment rate in the U.S. is at 3.6%, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is considered full employment by the Fed.
They have to push up the unemployment rate. And in the past, when you've pushed up the unemployment rate, you've almost never been able to avoid a full-fledged recession.
The central bank raised rates by 0.25 percentage point in March, but some say that wasn't soon enough.
They wanted to start late because they wanted to see the economy get to full employment. But I think that's going to turn out, in retrospect, to have been a policy mistake. They should have gone a little bit sooner in terms of removing monetary policy accommodation.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
There is some reason for optimism. Federal Chairman Jerome Powell says the U.S. has seen soft landings before and a recession isn't inevitable.
The governor of New Mexico is asking President Biden for a presidential disaster declaration to help battle 7 wildfires in the state. New Mexico currently has the most wildfires burning of any state in the U.S., according to the National Interagency Fire Center. The fires have burned over 223,979 acres of land across the state. A presidential disaster declaration would provide New Mexico with more funds to combat the fires, evacuate victims, and relieve those displaced by the wildfires.
May 9th is known as Victory Day in Russia because it commemorates the country's defeat of the Nazis in 1945. Russia President Putin insisted that he is carrying a, quote, special military operation. On May 9th, speculation has been growing in the past few days that this can change. Putin could declare war on Ukraine as soon as May 9th.
A change of command at the International Space Station. Astronaut Thomas Mashburn handed over control of the International Space Station to cosmonaut Oleg Artemyev Wednesday. Mashburn and his crew have been aboard since November and are preparing to come back to Earth later this week. His command will last until late summer. The handover comes at a time Russia is rumored to be pulling out of the International Space Station after its deadly and unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. NASA denies that claim.
A Russian military strike on Tuesday killed and wounded a number of civilians waiting for a bus in the city of Adivka in Ukraine's Oblast, according to the Ukrainian National Police. Photos posted by the National Police show the aftermath of the strike on a bus depot at a factory in Advitka. The photos were geolocated and verified by CNN. The National Police says the workers that were killed and wounded in the strike were boarding a bus after their work shift.
Coming up later tonight, what new research reveals about the experiences of women and people of color at the ER.
And a big change, Elon Musk says he wants to bring Twitter.
Now it is time for Black Card Revoke. Like, what's this apology about now?
At least that's what I feel like. I don't know. I thought it was cute. You know?
I thought it was too.
Yeah. Like, okay, so what about this black lace ensemble? You did a little song.
Yeah, I see it.
You did a little something. Yes.
I'm gonna figure it out though.
But it won't breathe to the sway. Yeah.
Megan.
And I'm Donna.
And this is the Sunset Show. Grab your low-rise jeans because we're taking it back to the 2000s.
Let's go, girls.
Uggs and low-rise jeans.
Together.
One of the boys. Boy.
Sorry, it's my agent. He told me that you're canceled.
Shebangy.
Welcome back to the Kind of Lake Show where we talk about anything and everything going on in our lives and yours.
Well, my birthday was November 13th, so it's been quite some time.
I think at the end we saw him get up.
I get that. I can't.
Here's a winner. And I did bring a sweater for everyone.
Here you go! I know your dreams. You started the paper throwing, just the immaturity. You lost before you even argued.
Pretty insane that the Clippers, 10 of the last 11 postseasons, they're in there.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. Here's your consumer and health news.
Elon Musk says he may start charging fees on social media platform after his $44 billion deal to buy it goes through. He said the fee will be small and only apply to commercial and government users, not everyday people. It's not clear exactly what plans Musk has for Twitter as he takes it private. He has said he wanted to better promote freedom of speech, but Musk has a history of being cryptic about his intentions.
The European Union is warning Apple about possible antitrust violations over the tech giant's Apple Pay restrictions. The EU believes those restrictions unfairly block rivals from using Apple's tap-as-you-go iPhone payment system. The practice prevents competitors from building their own apps or wallets using iPhone tap-to-pay functionality. Still, the EU warning is not a final decision on liability. Apple can now submit a formal response.
In health news, there is new information on the latest variant of Omicron. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has the numbers and what experts have to say about this new COVID-19 subvariant.
It's another Omicron variant offshoot, a highly contagious spin-off of BA2 gaining steam in the U.S. It caused more than 1 in 3 new COVID-19 cases in the U.S. last week, according to the latest CDC numbers, up from 1 in 4 the week before.
We're set up for another big wave in the summer. I think that's quite possible.
Cases of the variant spinoff are not evenly spread through the U.S. Last week, the CDC estimates it caused around 62% of cases in the region that includes New York, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, about 40% of cases in the mid-Atlantic states, and more than 36% of cases in the South. It's least common in the Pacific Northwestern states. Researchers believe several Omicron subvariants have a mutation that helps the virus bind more tightly to our cells and hide from the antibodies that try to block the virus from infecting us.
the incubation period, the period of when you become infected with the virus to when you start showing symptoms with these Omicron subvariants, is pretty quick. It's around 2 to 4 days.
In a paper published in the medical journal JAMA, top FDA officials say current vaccines could be updated yearly to target specific coronavirus variants going around. They say COVID-19 shots could be administered every year, and decisions will need to be made by this summer on future vaccine composition and who should be eligible for another COVID-19 shot in the fall. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The FDA officials wrote 3 factors may put the U.S. at additional risk of COVID-19 this coming fall and winter, warning immunity, seasonal waves of more coronavirus spread, and the virus further mutating.
It might not be long till there's a COVID-19 vaccine approved for kids under 5, but there are a lot of parents who say they're hesitant to vaccinate their young children. A new poll from the Kaiser Family Foundation shows only 18% of parents with children under 5 said they would vaccinate them as soon as a vaccine was available, and 27% said they definitely won't do it. Ultimately, the FDA will determine the vaccine's safety and effectiveness during meetings set for June.
A new survey finds half of adults do not think the U.S. is in a new wave of COVID infections in the U.S. The Kaiser Family Foundation conducted the survey and says the responses seem to reflect individual experiences. The U.S. is averaging more than 50,000 new COVID cases a day, but it's far below the peak seen in the beginning of the year. Still, the number of COVID hospitalizations has gradually increased in the last few weeks.
Another recent study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association shows women and people of color are more likely to experience longer wait times at the emergency room. The research is based on data from the CDC. Researchers looked at people under 55 years old who went to the ER for chest pain. They found that compared to white men, women and people of color were also less likely to get testing done and less likely to receive medication for a heart attack. And coming up in sports, Brian Rudman. Brian,
what can you give us a quick preview?
Of course. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Maddie. The Lakers baseball team is rocking and rolling after their series win over Cortland. The Big Apple is buzzing as the Mets and Yankees were both in action, and the Rangers played in an instant classic last night at the Garden. I'll have all the latest after the break.
The Kinda Late Show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty.
The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of time.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
Look at that. It's so sad.
Here's our weather elements and our social media on Saturday. And that's optional.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Brian Rudman with your Wednesday night sports report. Some Lakers getting recognized on the national stage. Paul Tamaro, starting shortstop for the Oswego State baseball team, was named to D3 Baseball's Team of the Week following a strong performance against the Cortland Red Dragons this past weekend. Tamaro went 9 for 10. Yes, you heard that right. He hit 900 across 3 games in the leadoff spot, scoring 5 times, swiping 4 bags, and hustling his way to a triple in each game. Tamaro probably played a big role in the other recognition the Lakers baseball team received this week, being ranked number 1 in Section 3 in D3 Baseball's weekly poll, following series wins against the Cortland Red Dragons and the Brockport Golden Eagles in the past 2 weekends. The Lakers have made their mark both within the SUNYAC and on the national stage as they seek a 4th SUNYAC crown in the last 5 seasons. Now from Division III baseball to the big leagues. The Mets fell to the Atlanta Braves today in their series finale by a score of 9-2. After 5 scoreless innings that featured quite a bit of leather being flashed, the defending champs exploded for 7 runs in the 6th inning to grab hold of the game. The loss for the Mets means a series split, but the Mets are yet to lose a series this season. On the other side of the city, the Bronx Bombers are north of the border this week, taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. After taking the first 2 games of the series, including a dominant 9-1 win last night, the Yanks are after a series sweep tonight, although it's a little difficult. As things stand right now, the Yankees are trailing the Blue Jays 2-1. Joey Gallo with a solo shot for the Yankees in this one. Switching to the ice now, the Rangers, they're back in the playoffs, so to MSG we go. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins in the Garden, visiting Chris Kreider and the Rangers for Game 1. Started in the second. Rangers, they're up 1-0, and it's going to go to Strome behind the net. He's going to feed one out, and Andrew Kopp drives it home on the one-timer. Rangers, they're up 2-0. Just over 1 minute later, though, the Penguins, they're going to fight back. Russ to Crosby to Gensel, wide open in front of net. Nice, easy tap in goal right there past Igor Shesterkin, 2-1. Penguins would keep going later in the period. Crosby to Gensel again to tie it up, beating Shesterkin, blocker side. Now, less than 3 to play in the second. Rangers shorthanded. Zibanejad to Kreider, dekes around to Smith, and the Pittsburgh Penguins would tie it up minutes later, but now double overtime. My goodness, Pittsburgh with the puck in deep. Rust rings it off the post from the slot. Had him beat, take another look. He cannot believe it. Now in triple overtime. Folks, there have been over 239 shots attempted to this point, and guess what? Number 240 finds the back of the net to win it for the Penguins. Malkin wins it with the deflection goal. The Penguins win it 4-3 in Game 1 in an instant classic. They're up 1-0 in the series, and after this one, Game 2 should be exciting. It's scheduled for 7 p.m. tomorrow night in the Garden.
That is quite an exciting last game to report on here at TOP.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one. Can't complain about that.
It was great working with you.
It was. We're really all going to miss you here. Viewers at home, Brian is a senior, so his last newscast, unfortunately, but you're going to do great things in the future.
Well, I appreciate that. It was a pleasure working with all of you and everyone in the back and everyone at TOP. It was a blast.
Alrighty, well, that is it for news tonight. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great evening.
Have a great night, everyone.
It's been a wild game so far, a lot of high scoring, so definitely tighten it up and play out that full 60 minutes.
Welcome back to the best show on WTOP 10 out on our own Oswego.
Did you hear that Bad Bunny's going to be in Canada over spring break, you know?
I heard that one.
Drink cognac. The week.
Oh my God.
Roll it.
The kind of late show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty.
The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of times.
I do think you're wrong a lot.